I'm gonna get you today.
What?
Welcome to another another episode of Sweet 915. I'm your host Curtis and my co-host.
It's me, Fedora. How
And
y'all
her
doing today?
new, y'all see the new thing she got right there? All right, Fedora.
Oh, my
Upgrade.
headset.
I gotta get on your level. And our special guest today is Dynacee from the
Hello,
Black
everybody.
Roundtable Voice. Hey, 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 how you doing today?
I'm good, good. Glad to be here. Glad to see you guys' wonderful faces, beautiful faces.
Yeah, yeah. And guess what? It's NFL Sunday, so we thank you again for tuning in with us, taking time out of the sports schedule to check us out. And remember to like our Facebook page, like our YouTube, subscribe so that you can
Right.
get our notifications when we are live at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So always, and thanks again for tuning in for those specific websites and we're going to get started. Today's topic. Now, Dynasty was she headed spearheaded the Fall into Action virtual series. Uh, what last 2 weeks? Last yeah, about the last 2 weeks. This was her idea, so we just wanted to bring her on so she can give you guys a heads up of what's to come and what happened in those last couple of weeks and what you missed. It was a very good series. I was a part of that, and I got to um, chime in on some things and got to ask some good questions too. So we're going to ask you with that series, Dynasty, what was your reasoning for putting together the Fall into Action virtual series for the Black Roundtable, and do you believe it was productive?
Yeah, so with the Black Roundtable, I was very blessed to be able to use that platform from my boss lady, Miss Tucker. She allowed me to be on there and to go forward with the Fall into Action initiative. And it was really just seeing a need here in the community here in El Paso, of us not knowing who our local candidates are, right? Because I voted in the last two elections, which are the only elections I've been able to vote in, and it's been so difficult to find information on the candidates here. And so I was, with the timing of me joining the team and with elections coming up in November and early voting starting in about 2 weeks,
Hmm.
we were
13.
able to bring together the Fall into Action initiative and start interviewing some of the candidates who are local here in El Paso. And
Okay.
I do believe it was productive. It was so much better than I could have ever imagined. The response was great. Mr. Curtis, you were great helping me out with some of the logistics of everything, and I think the response from the El Paso community here and family and friends was just more than I could have expected.
Yeah. Hey, thank you again for doing that. She's one of our youngest team members here with the Mocha Emprizes here. So hey, it's a pleasure having you, and we look forward to you continuing to do your thing in the community as one of our young people, trying to get the young people involved and know that you can be a part of the plan of action instead of the reactionary and wanting to jump out there but not getting in the weeds like you're doing and finding out about these people, knowing it's just not about the vote, it's about voting for the right people and having our best interests at hand when we go to vote, not just vote to say I voted. I think that's what
Mhm.
some of the young people are doing this day. Do you agree with that, Fedora?
Yes, I do. And it's I think it was very productive. And it was good to see the candidates because you are definitely correct.
Mm,
Here in El Paso, and it's different. And I don't know why it's that way. That it's not readily available to you, the people who are running. You
mm,
sometimes you see signs, you get these little flyers in the mail, but it says all wonderful good things because they're putting the flyer out. You want to
mm,
know the nitty gritty, what's in your heart, like what are you really talking about on your
right.
Facebook page or to your friends or in
Mm,
the coffee shop or at Starbucks. What are you really saying?
yeah.
So I think it was good to be able to hear and the sides, to see their faces, to see how they responded, to see their platform, honestly. So it was great.
and I think some of those conversation pieces that Dynasty kind of brought to the forefront, I was like, you're running for what again? You know, if you can't speak to the people, and we want to relate to other things, what bothered me a lot was, do I think it was productive? Yes, because I got to see where your platform was. Some of them didn't have a platform. They were just like, oh, I'm for this and I'm for that, and we need change. But what change are you specifically talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What exactly are you doing for the community or have done? I don't see you out there. I don't see you have a Facebook page. On your Facebook page, all I see you doing is standing behind the desk talking about vote for so and so. I mean, if you're about change and you want us to vote for you, I think that you should be knocking on doors, shaking hands, or like you said, Fedora, there's other events out here that you can come to and just show your face and say, hey, I'm so and so, and wave at them or something, so they know who they are. And like Dynasty was saying, you can't find any information on them. You're looking for these people like they're running for what? And then they got on the platform and they were like, oh, I do so and so and so and so. And it's like, well, that's not what your flyer is saying, who you are. It's just vote for me, and I'm for women's rights, and I'm for this community and this and
But what
this
have
and
you done for that community? Yeah,
yes,
I want receipts.
yeah,
Put it that way. I want to know, what have you done? Like
yeah,
what the song says, what have you done for me lately? What
yeah.
have you done? Like
And I think she
literally
tried to
in the
pull that out
community.
of them. I think
Yep.
she tried to pull that out of some of them, but with 2 minutes, everything starts with good question. That's a good question. And I'm like, you just killed 30 seconds saying that's a good question. Hey, I'm glad you asked that question. Bam, 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 bam. Let's talk about it. But everything is, oh, that's a good question. Like, okay, you just killed
And
30 seconds of your 2 or 3 minutes with that's a good question. And then you
yeah,
want to give a rundown of the history before you answer the question. I'm like, okay, got it. I appreciate it. What you was
yeah,
gonna
but
say, Dynasty?
I'm glad that the way that we formatted it, none of the candidates knew the questions beforehand, right? So everything
Oh,
was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
off of the top of the dome, really, and so you were able to see what they really knew from their personal education level or personal knowledge and wisdom. And
Mhm.
it's not as polished as you would see it on a Facebook page, on a
Right.
website, or
Mhm.
even on a video that they could have taken, but they have a script written out, right? And I
Right.
think it was also for our platform that we were able to have the live questions from the viewers, because
Yes.
that gives people who wouldn't have seen that person or talked to that person in face, especially or face to face, especially in this COVID season. It gives them the opportunity to have their voice heard. So I was grateful to see that side of the candidates, and grateful for all the candidates who actually responded.
Right. And that's
Yep.
good. I bring up to that next question that we have. Do you believe those you reached out to, organizations and candidates, provided genuine responses to your questions?
Yeah, and going a little bit back, right? Because I hadn't talked about the organizations that we actually started the month with.
Uh-huh.
At the beginning of the month, we talked with the predominantly Black organizations here in El Paso, kind
Okay.
of starting a discussion of who they were, getting their platform a little bit larger to our audience here and on the Black Roundtable, and asking them what can we do for our community, as kind of well, as the 4% of El Paso, which people think that, oh, 4%, right? Like that means that there are about two Black people in El Paso, and that's it, and they're not really doing anything. But
Yeah.
no, we have established organizations here. We have people who are working in the community here, but just trying to work on a more collaborative effort between all of those organizations to see
Mhm.
where we can actually make an impact here in the city. And so with that, I thought we had a great conversation at the beginning of the month, and even with the candidates. Like you said, Curtis, some of them you can tell they were, kind of tip tapping around some questions that they didn't
Mhm.
really know about, which I would have been, I would have felt more, I guess, secure in their answer if they had said, you know what, I'm not sure about that right now, but I'm going to get back. I'm going to get research. I'm going to, dig into those communities. I'm going to find out what those people who the question refers to actually need, and then I'm going to get back to you and put out a formal statement. So I think the candidates did their best to their ability at the time.
Okay.
I don't know about you guys watching.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Uh,
Go
I
ahead.
thought that they did answer, like you said, to the best of their ability. But when they started, like, tap dancing around or denying that there was a particular issue or going around the circle, then that's when I was like,
Yeah.
you're off. Like, I know, like my vote is going for the other person because you can't answer this question. You don't know, so
Yeah.
just say you don't know, and then I can accept that. But when you start trying to lie and act like you know and you don't, then that's when
Mhm.
I know that, okay, you can compromise. You can be
Right.
compromised.
Right.
You a lie at the
Yeah.
drop of a dime to save face for yourself. So no, we don't need liars. Got enough of that.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one, Fedora. I wholeheartedly, I agree with you. I felt like just say, I don't know. I don't know. Let me look more into that. Or I can't answer
Yep.
that question at this time. Suffice.
Yep.
But to go and make up something into whereas another candidate can answer that question, then I'm saying to you, why are you running when you don't know something as simple as uh,
A,
zoning
B, C,
permits
D.
and stuff like that? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's a part of the process. People going to be telling you, hey, I need this road fixed. I want sidewalks in this area. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that requires zoning permits. That requires a different pot of money or something like that. You should be aware of that. You should know that
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I think that with them not knowing or saying, well, I can't really relate to the black community that much. Well, does the black vote matter to you? You know, yeah, just
And some candidates, you can tell that they had only been exposed to people around their organization, and they
mhm,
kind of, sit in a bubble here in El Paso, and they're comfortable with
Mm-hmm.
that. And as
Mm-hmm.
far as going out and reaching people, they didn't have a plan for that. They didn't even,
Nope.
kind of consider that
yeah,
until the question was brought up, or something was brought up
yeah,
that they hadn't thought was an issue here in El Paso that is to, not only our community but to other people outside of their bubble. And
mhm,
so
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, just being in the platform open their eyes to that a little bit more, and hopefully they'll kind of change their course of action on what they plan to run on their
yeah.
candidacy.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
agree. Yeah, you hit it right on the head. With you
Yep.
asking that question, that kind of exposed them that, hey, I'm just in this bubble. I'm not aware of El Paso as a whole. I just know about my specific area. 745. I just know those people, but I'm not, reaching out to everybody. For the support that I need to be to win the position that I'm trying to get. Uh, so let's talk about the process. The process. So, what was your process of selecting the candidates? You talked
So
about.
it was going to of course, the city website. They have who's running in this election in November. They have the seats that are going to be open, and then the people who submitted their applications. So as early as August, when people were starting to put their applications in, we were trying to email people, right?
Mhm.
And really just hounding people's emails, telling them what the platform is going to be about, telling them who I am a little bit, and the reason for the platform. And from there we happily accepted anybody who answered those emails. So it was really based on who kind of reached. There was even a time when I would have to go on their application and look for a phone number if they weren't answering emails, and so I would, call a phone number, and that's just kind of part of me being new to the, I guess, political scene here in El
Yeah.
Paso, or at least trying to reach out to those people who are local politicians, local people
Mhm.
who are in those positions, and not having those immediate contacts. So, we just did the best we could with what was available to us. And so whoever was running an opposed race, because here in El Paso, because we don't talk about politics so much, there are many unopposed races where people are just dropping off an application and then they get a seat. So anybody who was running an opposed race, we sent them an email. We tried to call them, contact them, and hopefully they answered back to us.
Okay.
Mhm.
Mhm.
When you say unopposed, that means it's like it's one person running for that seat, and
Yes.
there's no.
Yeah,
Okay.
they just get appointed to it. They don't have an opponent.
Mhm.
Did you find a lot of positions? Where did you find those positions? Like where they were just nobody ran against them? Was it like the judiciary mostly? Where was that?
Yes. Yeah, and even back in August when we were checking the website, there were some city representatives who were the only or running unopposed. But of course, as we got closer to the deadline and people started kind of throwing in their applications
Oh
closer
wow.
to the deadline, then there were a lot more candidates for city reps such as District 4 for mayoral. The
Hmm.
candidates, the number went up closer to the deadline. And so that just goes to show you that anybody can put in an application and go out there and run, right?
Hmm.
Because once you put in the application, once you know the process of what's going on, then you're probably going to run unopposed in some of those circles.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. I know this is going to touch the nerves of some people. So, in the process, were you able to do background checks on all the candidates that facilitate your question, that help facilitate your questions? Meaning, like, so you want to ask this question about maybe their background and criminal activities or anything like that. Were you able to do that, or you just was like, let me stay away from that, allow them to state it themselves or something like that?
So, to the specific part of your question, I had not specifically went out to look for criminal background checks or arrest warrant background checks. I learned information as I went along, as I found out who was going to be on the platform.
Okay.
And of course, if that question had come up on Facebook, then I was, not going to be shy to it. And because
Okay.
the candidates, they got to own what they've done, right? Own their
Right.
past,
Right.
and let them decide if that's going to be a part of where they're going, or if it was something that they were able to be acquitted of, or whatever that
Right.
situation was. But personally, I tried to focus more on the issues, more on what they had been publicly stated that they were for or were against here in
Mm.
El Paso. And from there, that's where I created the questions to ask them, because if one person in District 2 is getting a question asked about the Northeast, then or like the far Northeast where it's District 4 territory, it's not really going to be relevant to the conversation
Right.
of their district. As far as having a back and forth, because I also did try to keep it more conversation like. I didn't want it to feel so
A
strict
debate.
and so restricted um, to typical things that are considered political right now. And so really just trying to focus them on the districts and on the candidates who are running for those districts. And let me ask you guys, what do you guys usually look for when you're researching candidates, or in past elections? What have you guys tried to research?
To be
For
honest
me,
with you,
oh, go ahead.
yeah, for me, I try to look up what is their interest and what can they do in the community, and then I try to look up information such as, are they criminals? Uh, because I don't want to support somebody like that. And if need to, I will be the one to ask the question, have you been arrested? Um, and if they say no, I haven't, then I can say, well, according to this record in 2000 and so on, so you were arrested for a DUI in Northeast. Do you think that as a candidate, even though you served your time, that what laws would you put in place to prevent stuff like that from happening? I would put them on the spot, because if you got away with it, or I mean, not got away with it, but you served your time, once you get in those positions, it could be, sometimes it could be stressful. And whereas you feel like you're okay, it's like an NFL player, NBA player. We have the ability to have drivers, but yet we'll still jump in our car, and after drinking all night with our fellas, jump in our car and still drive, knowing that my career could be on the line if I get pulled over or arrested, or hit somebody and kill somebody. So I would ask those type of questions. But if I was doing that, yeah, I would have that available. So when they say no, Dynasty, I've never been arrested, or I may have to, I'll be like, okay, yeah, they're telling the truth. But if they say, well, I would be that Stephen A. Smith guy. Hey, according to this record, you did blah 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 blah. So what are you saying? So that tells the people right there, if you're lying on the platform, then you're gonna lie to me in public. So everything that you're telling me that you're about, you're not about. So that's my take on it. That's what. Now pass the mic to Fedora.
Well, for me, when I do my research, I try to find their like personal platforms, or sort of like personal slash political, and see who's responding to them, and what they're saying about different topics, and how that person replies or responds to them on those topics. Um, just like simple questions, or questions about Black Lives Matter, or things of that nature, to see how they respond to different things. And that will get me down to their like slash coffee talk. When people feel comfortable around other people and they say stuff or they answer things, then that's when you get the true reality of what they're feeling, what they really believe, because anybody can make a statement
Mhm.
and back something and be totally lying. They can say, oh, I love this, or I'm for this, and then when they get in that position, it's a total difference. And a lot of times we as citizens, we don't know what they're voting
Right.
yes or no for. We would have no idea until a platform like this or someone calls them out on it. And so when I pick a candidate, I want them to have the same values and views that I do. Not totally, but at least in that area
Yeah,
where
that
I know
compromise.
that they are actually for the people. They will actually get out. I could go to a town hall meeting and give my opinion, or say, okay, what are we doing about this? Or there's a problem because there's not enough street lights or street lamps in our neighborhood and it's very dark.
Mhm.
So when can we get some another pole or brighter lights, or can you spread them out or put them closer together? What have you. So if I have a person that's running and that has those type of platforms, not only on the weekday but on the weekends, for people who work, who are able to attend those, and it's left up to me as a citizen to attend it, and find out and listen and go to these things. And when you have those candidates who do that, then that's a candidate that I'm willing to back, because I know they're transparent. I know they are for the community and for the betterment of the community, not just for themselves. Because we have a lot of candidates forget that they are running for the people. They're to be that representative, and as it goes higher, they're more concerned about the title or the power that they have, and
Mhm.
forget that they're there for the people, not for
Right.
themselves.
Right.
So that's what I look for.
Okay. So during the Fall into Action virtual series, were you expecting some of the negative comments that the public that came from the public during the roundtable session?
So, I mean, personally, I've lived here in El Paso for the last 10 years, right? So,
Mhm.
I know that when certain issues came up that are specific to the Black community here, certain issues came up that are specific to, younger people who kind of see things differently than the older generation, that there was going to be some rifts, of course. Some of the, mm, most of the candidates surprised me when even they were kind of backing what the comment section was saying
Mhm.
about when the Black community brought up that there's racial disharmony here against Black people, and they agreed with it, because there's the idea that El Paso was in the bubble, and nothing negative happens here, and there's a little bit of racism, and kind of making that an excuse for like what the Black person's experience is here. And
Mhm.
so that definitely hearing the candidates say it on the platform, that surprised me. But anything that you put out there to be informative or to have people see it, that you're gonna have negative comments about it, right? I'm pretty sure you guys know with even this awesome podcast that you guys are doing on this platform and on your YouTube page, and you guys still get some slack from
Oh
some
yeah,
people. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I'm going to tell you, I didn't. I expect questions, but the bashing, I didn't really expect.
Mm-hmm.
Various candidates that were running, and to include people that were already representatives. I didn't expect the male bash, not the male bashing, but the bashing in the comments. It was more of you shouldn't be running. You got this and so on and so forth, but not to be specific, or they'll bring up things that I felt was irrelevant to the position that they're running for. Oh, you did this and you did that. And I'm trying to think about, so let's flip the script. You found something that was minute, but you didn't praise for the major. You asked for a big whatever in the Northeast and he gave you that, but then you're saying he did this and he did that. And I'm saying, okay, well, maybe he can't talk about that right now on the platform. He can't talk about what's going on with his case over here, or what's going on over there. Same thing with when you allowed each candidate to speak, to ask each other a question. We got one candidate, she didn't even want to answer the question because she was in denial. She was like, "Oh, we're not going to talk about that right now. We'll talk offline." And I'm like, "Why can't we talk about that? If you
Mm-hmm.
if you if you said this about her, then why not answer the question?" It's just like we're having a conversation. We're not. She didn't bash her. She just asked her a question. But then you want to run, but you can't relate to what the people want. Like Fedora is saying, you can't relate because you keep referring back to what you do in the community, but we don't see that. We haven't seen that. You know,
Mhm. It's
you
like what you do, you do for your four and no more.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? It's just like your little bubble, your
mhm,
four, no more. No, it has to be
yeah,
everybody when you're running for something
yeah.
for everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah.
I'm for the
For
people, so
everyone.
I'm a part of the people, and I can relate to some of those candidates. I can relate to the things that they've done in the community because I've been in various districts where I've seen them come out and show their faces and introduce who they are and say, if you need anything, come, you can contact me. You know what I'm saying? And a few of them have shown what they can do and made promise on some of the things that they said that they were going to do. But um as far as the comments, people, I was like, they just rambling, and I was like, wow, we're trying to give you a general idea of what they're trying to do in the community, and some people didn't even show up that I know you reached out to. They didn't even show up, so that tells me right there you might have something to hide. So if you can't come to this forefront where we can spread, we can see your face, know who you are. Some people don't even know what's going on. Just like you said, they just put in the application, said, "I want change," but what change do you want? Be specific. What changes do you want? And the people in the comments are asking the questions because they are the people, and these people couldn't answer their questions. Like, "Oh, I'm not familiar with
Mm-hmm.
that. Oh, I'm not tracking that." And I'm saying to myself, I know what that is. What you mean you don't know about it? You
If you're
know,
running for office, you
right.
should make it your business to know about it. Like do your homework. Like
Hmm.
we tell the kids, do your homework.
Yeah. You
You
mean you
learned
don't
about it.
know?
It's something you want to do.
Yeah.
Study
Yeah.
for it.
You don't understand land swapping. You don't understand the zoning. You don't even know about the what's the thing that Sam Morgan put up, that down, that him and the mayor, that for um the call to action, the
Um,
justice policing thing that you brought up.
um,
Mm.
the El Paso Strong Resolution.
Yeah, the resolution. Nobody could answer that. But you're running for a position. Nobody knew about the resolution. I don't know what you're talking about. What? Like you said, Fedora, do your homework. It's happening.
And
It's
that's
happening where you work. It's happening. You voted on it. You voted on it. Your name is in the hat. You voted on it. So therefore, why don't you know? And that's what some of the things was in the comments. I was shocked. I was like, wow, simple stuff.
What were you gonna
Yeah,
say,
and
Destiny?
that's what. Oh, that's going on in City Hall right now, right? So that means that they're
Yeah.
not keeping up with,
Mhm.
which are in video format, which you can go back and watch if you weren't actually watching live for the meeting.
Okay.
So that just goes to show how informed they are about the process at city government level,
Mhm.
which is
Mm.
alarming when they're going for that position. So it is definitely telling.
Yeah. Before moving on, Fedora, you had a question? You had something on that before I ask her a question right quick.
No,
So,
I'm good.
Dynasty, talk about the importance of the young adult vote um, and the early vote and early voting, if you can.
For sure. A lot of, well, let me say, the perception of a lot of young people is that we complain about stuff, but we don't actually do stuff, right? And
Hmm.
so some people, I know personally, some people who are like, oh, they already expect us not to do nothing, so I'm not going to do anything. And then there's another person, who's, oh, it's too much on a large scale for me to have any say or have any change about what's going on politically, what's going on in the country. And then there's a person who just isn't completely oblivious to what's going on, right? And is kind of see no evil, hear no evil, and just kind of shuts that part out. And I'll be honest, I was part of the latter. Not even, I would say, a year ago, because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna vote and figure out what goes on right around voting time, and then I'm gonna kind of put it to the back burner.
Hmm.
But the thing about all of those types of young people, even types of older people who haven't gotten who haven't taken the opportunity to vote, is that it starts with the mindset, right? It starts with the mindset of you feeling like you don't have the power to change anything.
Hmm.
And if you feel so drowned out by things that are happening nationally, right? Because it's sometimes overwhelming to see all the things that are going on in the world, and things that are going on with Trump this week, and things that are going on in the Senate this week, or this and that. But let's focus on local elections. Let's start at this level here, where we live in the city. We pay taxes to the city. we pay taxes to the county. Why aren't we paying attention to what's going on here that actually affects us every day? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I was like. If you feel like it's too much, it's too overwhelming. The news is too upsetting. Whenever you turn it on, it's something negative. Start locally. Start where you live. Start with your neighborhood association. Start, trying to get that information of what's going on around you, and you can make a difference there.
Hmm.
And early voting, I mean, look, I'm the type of person that if I don't plan for it, I'm gonna forget about it, right? And so
Right, right.
sometimes having one day to vote, it's gonna be 6:55, and the poll closes at 7. I'm like, oh man, I gotta go get my vote in. So you know
Yeah.
what? Go ahead and take off that stress. And if you know you're that type
Okay.
of person like me, go ahead and make sure that you plan on early voting, because that's 2 weeks that you can go in and not have to
Wherever.
stress about lines, not have to stress about, only having that one day, or only getting from your work that 1 hour to go vote, and everybody's trying to vote in that hour, and you're not going to have enough time. Plan for early voting. Make sure that your vote gets counted. Make sure that your voice gets heard, because it's stressful to put that type of pressure on one day, right? Because
Hmm.
everybody's like November 3rd, but you have 2 weeks before November 3rd where you can go ahead and vote and get it out the way,
Yeah.
and feel good about your vote, feel good that you don't have to put that stress on November 3rd. And so that's the course I'm going to take this year, because like I said, I'll be looking at my watch and be like, I should probably go ahead and go vote right about now.
Right.
Yeah. What about you guys? Do you guys early vote? Or
Yes, I always early vote. I love early voting. I have an app on my phone for with the elections, and so with early voting, what I love about it, besides the obvious, you can vote early, is that you can go anywhere. So, like, if
Mhm.
you're where your work is, let's say it's not where you live, in that area, when you get off work, you can go in that area. You can, go to a normal area you normally go to that's on your way home. You can go wherever, they have the early voting. And it's usually in convenient places like the malls, um, YMCA's, things of that nature. But yeah, I love early voting. I always early vote, and I'm loving that it's 2 weeks this year. So
Yeah.
they extended it.
So since we're talking about early voting, let me share this with everybody. If you go to epcountyvotes.com, it'll show you, and you put your area in on this app, it'll show you exactly where you can early vote at that time. Yep, El Paso County Votes.com. It'll show you
Mhm.
exactly where all the early voting stations are located now. So it's on the website. So if you go in there, El Paso County Votes.com, and it will show you where you can early vote at. So it could be close to your job, like Fedora said. It could be close to your job. You can just go down the street, and go ahead and early vote and come back to work. So check that website out, and it should be a great help to you to go ahead and early vote. Um, I would also share with you, Dynasty, with the young people and voting. There are still people that have not voted, but I'll tell you, I'm a voter registrar, and the area that I've been working out working out of a Mount Wood. They One of the parents came last week to get some free food. She brought her son, and she came back this week and brought three girls with her, her daughter and her two friends, and she
Wow.
got them registered. And I remember I said,
Oh,
"You
that's
told me you were
wonderful.
coming back too." She said, "Yeah, I told you I was coming back." She said, I need to get them registered to vote.
Yes, yes,
So that I encourage the parents to do the same thing. If
yes.
your son or daughter has not voted and registered to vote and they're 18, or they'll be 18 before election
Mhm,
before Monday. Well, Monday's the last day to register anyway. Uh,
mhm,
Mhm.
I encourage you to get out there and get them registered to vote, because it's very
okay.
important. And then just don't have them vote. Explain this to them, some of the things that they see. Their education is important. That you could, your student aid, uh, uh, your laptops that you get in school, the building that you get your education learning, all of that plays a part in voting. So
Mhm,
especially at the local level. So
Mhm.
it's important that you get out there and you vote, especially at the local level, so that you can see change, and you knew that I made that vote, or I voted that person in there because they were for my best interest when it comes to education, or first time buyers loans, or whatever the case may be, that deal with the young people. So once
mhm.
they get involved and they understand that process, I think that'll help them out a lot when it comes to voting. They just won't vote to say, "Oh, I voted, I registered to vote." No, register to vote, understand the process of the vote, and who you're voting for in your district. Know what you're voting on, because like a friend of mine said, when register, there's issues that come up on the voting thing that we have to vote for as well. But if you're not familiar with it, then you're going to vote yes, and that could be an increase in taxes in this area, or school fees for your students. All those things.
Mhm,
Think about that. Think about those things when we're going to vote this year as well. Pay
mhm.
attention. Pay attention to those things that pop up, and understand what they're about. You know.
Yep.
Mhm. And even if you're I think I read it the other day, if you're 17 and a half and
Uh-huh.
you need to register to vote, and then once you turn
Yeah.
18 they'll send you your voter card, and you'll already be squared away, so you don't have to worry about it for your 18th birthday. So I
Yeah.
mean, we really need to be, hopping on that, and have kids get involved in that right out of high school, right? Because that's
Mhm.
the age that they're graduating at. They're 17, 18, and so we need to make sure that they know that it's not just something that's going to come in the mail, and
Yeah.
not something that's going to be given to them. They got to go out and
Mm-mm.
fill out that application, right? Because
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
some people out of high school, just talking with my friends, they thought that somebody was going to give us a class on how all this works. But no, you gotta go out and you gotta research yourself. You gotta figure
Yep.
out where your voting place is. You gotta figure out, make sure you have your license with you, or some type of ID.
Yeah.
You gotta start being responsible for all that stuff. So
Mhm.
I think education, of course, is very big in voter turnout, and getting young people to vote.
Yeah.
Mhm. Definitely. Well
Yeah.
said.
So Fedora, like I told Dynasty one time, we was doing the Zoom. I said it's about to get hot in here. So the next question is, what are your thoughts about the arrest of one of the Northeast candidates, Sean Nixon? Were you shocked about the allegations about him writing bad checks during this campaign?
You know what? I feel I'm feeling a little parched, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all answer this question first. I have my notes, and it's not gonna change based on what you guys say, but please go ahead. Feel free to take
Well,
this
I'll
question
go first.
away.
Yes, I was shocked. I
I
say
was
yes, I was
too.
shocked. So Curtis, you'll go. Just send your.
I was too. Wow. Yeah. And then so I was shocked at first. I was shocked. And then if you remember doing the show, when this picture was posted of him, one of the people posted on our page on the Black Roundtable, they said, remember when he was walking back and forth, they were repossessing his stuff in the office. And I was like, I didn't pay no attention to it. I just thought that was rude that he wouldn't turn his camera off when Dynacee was asking the question. So we couldn't really hear what he was saying uh, in reference to any of the questions that was being asked because he kept getting up and then somebody that knew him saying, well, during the podcast, you remember during the podcast, oh, his stuff is getting repossessed. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
And then I read the article on it, and I was just shocked to his answers to about the writing checks. He just said he didn't do it, so that's why we say allegedly. He's been arrested for alleged check writing bad checks. So like you say, we can't
Wow.
we can't accuse him of anything. It's just an allegation right now, until you know I guess it turns into, time served, or he's being arrested for whatever the case. Well, he goes to jail officially and he gets time for the question.
Yeah, I mean, of course it was shocking, right? Those are one of the headlines when you see candidate gets arrested. It's one of those attention
Yeah,
grabbing headlines, right?
yeah,
The clickbait, so to speak. But like you said, innocent until proven guilty, and it'll be very interesting to see it play all the way out. If it keeps up, in the news that long, because people kind of get bored with news stories after
yeah,
they break. You don't see how they actually turn out. That being said, if somebody provides a service, they should be paid. My heart goes out to the people who put in hard work
yeah,
multiple businesses that are accusing him. If they provided a service, then they should be paid. But I'm interested to hear his side of the story. Like I did read that Curtis, that he was saying that it was his campaign manager who left, and he had no idea about it. So um, I wonder what he's gonna do, knowing that this has been going on. Okay, so are you able to make up the funds for it, or do you have a plan for this? Kind of what's gonna happen next. So
mhm,
Or go after the campaign manager.
well,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. And then will he be willing to even talk about it? Um,
mhm.
if he
Mhm.
gets a release, will he be willing to talk about what happened? Because sometimes you can't even talk about the case, and
Oh
but I
yeah,
didn't see anything
because
that says he dropped out. So I mean, hey, so where we go from here?
yeah.
Allegedly. Okay. So, what are some of the initiatives for the community you hope to share by way of Black El Paso Voice and the Black Roundtable?
Yeah, so now, especially after talking with the organizations I talked with, and discussing with some people here in the community, I think now I plan to use the Black El Paso Voice to give those organizations more of a voice, more of recognition of what they're doing here in the community, because some of those organizations I spoke with, they go and they remodel houses here in El Paso. Some people, they're trying to start a community garden. Like yourself, we were out at the church giving out free food to the community, and
Mhm.
registering people to vote who probably haven't even thought of taking that opportunity for themselves to go and register to vote for whatever reason. And so I definitely want to get more involved in the community, know what's going on here, and be able to put that out for other people to see, and for them to get the recognition that they deserve. On top of that, of course, I want to continue this. spring comes right around just as quick as this election came around. So
Mhm.
definitely speaking with candidates who are going to be up for election that year, that election cycle, and keeping the conversation going, and informing people on why it's important to vote. Please get out and vote. Really pushing this next month on early voting, and making sure that you have an informed vote. I mean, that was the whole reason for starting the initiative, right? Was to make sure that people had an informed vote. And so those are definitely some of the things that I see short term, that I'm planning on right now, and then anything that people or like you guys' podcast, which I love this podcast. It's on my Spotify playlist. I go in and tap on it when I'm driving,
Okay.
and anything where I can learn more about my community here, learn more about all of El Paso here, and have my voice be heard. I'm definitely going to be involved in that.
Okay.
Good, good.
Yeah. We have a lot of like I said, we have a lot of events coming up. And what I would like to see out of the young people is um, getting out in the community and feeding, helping us to give back for like feeding the homeless. I don't see a lot of people doing that. I don't see a lot of young people doing that. And like I say, you young people, you want your voice to be heard, but you have to be in the line. You have to be within. You have to be out there so that we can see. So I can take you seriously. I got it. You wanted your voice to be heard, but you can't pop up when all the when the Black Lives
Hype
Matter
is
movement.
kind of on it. Yep.
Yeah, I want to be in the pit in the rally, but then once we say we're not busting no windows, we're not turning over cars, and we're not kicking in doors. Oh, I don't want to be a part of that. But when we going out here and you see that, taking a pack of socks and a toothbrush and a toothpaste and some baby wipes and handing it to the homeless out on the street, that's something that the young people can do. And those people will be very appreciative. You don't need a organization to go out to help you do that. You as a
Mm-mm,
young group of people can do that and say, this is what we're doing in my
mm-mm,
area. You know, sometimes you can't give homeless people food. So there's other ways to do it. You can give them a toothbrush, some toothpaste, some baby wipes, a face cloth, in a little
like a
bag.
blanket when it's cold,
Yep,
Hmm.
like a
yep,
cooler.
yep. A mask. You
Yeah.
can put a mask, a couple masks in there. Those are things. Those
Mhm,
are ideas that the young people can do. It doesn't take an organization to come up with that. You as young people, you can say, "Hey, mom, this is what I want to do for the community for the holiday." Oh, like Fedora said, it's getting cold. You can give them a pair of socks. You can buy some gloves from Family
mhm,
Dollar, Walmart. They're not that expensive, you know.
mhm,
And you could just hand them out to them. Hey, I just want to give you this. I want, and just keep it moving. So you
mhm,
can say that, hey, I did something in the community, and this is what I do. So I want to see
mhm.
change as well. So
And it doesn't have to be a big thing.
hmm
It can always be something small. If it's coming from, like I say, keep loving your heart. It can be something small.
yeah,
Just you can hand them a bottle of water. I
hmm
know COVID is going on, but like a bottle of water, like a disposable mask, like pretty much. And you don't have to get recognition for it, like
right,
you did that, so
hmm
that's good. And so like it kind of trickles, like when you help a person, from the kindness of your heart, it kind of trickles. It's going to come back on you, like they say, you reap what you sow.
right,
So you will reap what you sow. So if you sow into a person or give something from your heart, then you're going to reap the benefit from that. And then
right,
someone else will see you doing it, and then you never know, someone else that might have more than you, it will pull on their heartstrings, and they'll be like, hey, yeah, let me give this person $5. So now they have food and money, or this item and some money. If you can't give money, give what you can.
yeah,
So, and it doesn't have to be on television, or you don't have to let anybody know about it, but you know it within yourself that, okay, that's what we've done. Or to go down and volunteer your time at the soup kitchen,
hmm
downtown to help. And I know you have to have like background checks and stuff like that. So you do have to do things, like you might have a thought in your mind that that's what you want to do. So you seek out opportunities to be able to do it, with other people and then find out, because I know a lot of things go on here in El Paso, but there's no advertisement. You
Mhm.
don't see it on the news. You see the same news over and over again. But how about letting us know what's going on in the community, flashing that, oh, this week we're doing this downtown, or this week, this is going on. It needs to be something that we see on a regular, that we know what's going on in the community, because a lot of times, unless you get like an email, or somebody through the grapevine that'll tell you, oh, and
Mhm.
you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to go to that, or I want to do that, I
Mhm.
want to help,
Mhm.
you won't know.
Yep.
Right.
So there's a problem with getting the news out to everyone in El Paso.
Right. Right.
Yes, and that's something I'm working on, and doing my part to alleviate that part of the disconnect here. But also, I think people forget that when it's not trending, like the need is still there, right? Like there was
Yeah.
a time over the summer where people were recording them giving groceries to their grandma. And it's like, okay, are you gonna give groceries this time, and then you're just doing it for the video, or like your grandma's still gonna need groceries next week,
Yeah.
that person on the corner is going to need food next week if you're not driving by. What are you going to do um, behind the scenes? What are you going to do to help one person, not just today, but to kind of get them off their feet and get them to a place where they can sustain, and then they can help the next person. I think it's definitely got to be a pay it forward type of mindset
Yeah.
going forward. And even with everything that happened over the summer with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and it was easy at the hype of it to be in the protests, to be in the things that were going on on social media. But then, okay, we still have those issues today. What are you still going to be doing to continue the conversation? What are you going to still do to alleviate the the social injustices that are in our community, in our country, in our state? So it's definitely got to be about continuing the work.
Yep.
Just something that I just saw about one of the viewers, but I want Fedora to take this. So Fedora,
Hmm.
Miss Melton is saying that many young people are homeless too and need to ask for help. Many of the young people who are acting out live in poverty and are channeling their anger the wrong way. What suggestions would you have for that? For those.
Well, I know sometimes the line of assistance,
Hmm.
when we were in school, came from like teachers and the counselors. We were able to see it, but now that we are virtual, it's a little bit more difficult to know what's going on. But just keeping an ear out or an eye out for the kids, and being
Hmm.
able to make sure that they're getting those meals, because a lot of times that's the only way the kids got meals was at school.
Okay.
But to get it out there that yes, school is still serving lunch every day, and it is for free. That they can go if they don't have a way to go. Maybe let whomever is in their circle know, or an adult, and they can drop it off, to the house in that area. So the acting out part, yeah, they are, because they don't know what else to do. And
Hmm.
that is their language to let us know that something is wrong, but they might not be verbal enough to tell us, to just point blank tell us that something's going on. We
Hmm.
have to be mindful and have to look with that caring eye,
Hmm.
that most, I say, being a female, mothers have. Or you have that intuition where okay, this kid might was doing well in school, or was coming to class, showing up every day, and then now they're absent.
Hmm.
So making that call home, trying to find out, hey, is the kid okay? Like, I've been making several phone calls, even made some on Saturday, to some kids who have been absent for 2 days straight. Okay, like, I noticed some of our kids are able to go to school, you know, on a hybrid method, because they didn't have electronics or
Hmm.
technology. So calling them and finding out, trying to get in touch, and then just hounding, because a lot of times they will not call you back, or will not email you, or anything like that. So continuing to call, sending that truant officer out to the home, because we still have house calls even in COVID, because we still have to do that. Letting your administration know, yeah, and then in the neighborhood, if you're in a neighborhood where you're neighborly and you know your neighbors, because I know a lot of us now, we just live in neighborhoods and we don't know our neighbors.
Mm.
um that if you see that going on, or if you see a kid, just kind of make yourself available or open or for that. You know how we in our neighborhood, I know growing up in the South, we always had like that older mima or grandma, or that person in the neighborhood where you know that she was on the porch, or you knew her grandkids, and you could always get a meal,
Mm.
or or some
Right.
change of 25-50 cents to go to the ice cream truck. And
Right.
she didn't have a lot, but she was open for that. And if anything were wrong, she could maybe impart some knowledge on your parents or
Mm.
what have you, or help you out with clothes or what have you. I mean,
Mm.
it's like Dynasty said, pay it forward.
Yeah.
Just be mindful, look, keep an eye out,
Mm.
because everybody's going through something. I mean, even us,
Mm.
everybody.
Right.
So just have that eye out to help. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I would say the same thing. I think that with that, we need to know about it, and just reach out, or organization that will help. Uh, and you could, I'm sure some people are willing. It's COVID's going on. Hey, we can knock at the door and just drop it off. I
Just
mean,
leave it.
just leave it there. Say, hey, I left something at your door. No questions asked. Where Dynasty and I are volunteering at. We tell people, take a box to your neighbor, take a free box to somebody. I know somebody needs this milk
Food.
and apples and bananas or whatever. Just take it to them. Don't you have to ask no questions. Just put it by the door and say, hey, I left something on your doorstep. Don't know if you need it or not, but it's there for you.
Here it
Knock
is.
on the door. Say, no questions asked. Here you go. So I think that's another way to help. When you go to some of these areas where they're giving out free food, grab a box for your neighbor. Those kids are there by themselves. Just drop it off. Say, hey, no questions asked. Just tell your mom or your dad, I just dropped this box off because it was free, and I just, don't worry about it.
Just thought about you.
Yeah,
Or
just thought about
yeah,
it.
just
Yeah.
put a note on it and leave it at the door, because with COVID, you have to be careful. So
Mm.
yeah, to protect yourself and to protect those in the home, just put a
Yeah.
note on it and ring the doorbell just like UPS does, and go.
Okay.
Just leave it and leave.
Okay.
Leave a note there. Yeah.
All right. So we've come to the end of another one of our episodes of Sweet 915. Dynasty, we thank you for uh, being a special guest today, and we appreciate you sharing your information with your Fall into Action virtual series, and we hope that you continue that. And if you need us, we'll be a part of that as well to help you be successful in all the things that you do. Anything you got for us before you leave? Like where can we find you? What you got coming next for us?
Absolutely. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try to do this really quick because my internet keeps going in and out. But
I
Yeah.
know.
I believe my email was thrown up.
Okay.
Email me. You can email me at dynasty@Black El Paso Voice. I am also the social media director for the Black El Paso Voice. So you can send me a DM on Instagram. Tweet at me. I'll be able to hit you guys back and contact me that way. If you have an organization who has an event going on that you need a kind of press or a story written up about it, please let me know. Go ahead and email me, and we'll try to get your message out, get your platform out, and let the people know what you're doing here in El Paso. And thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome hosts, and subscribe to
Thank
Sweet
you.
915.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking time out today and coming, giving us some information and some knowledge. It's always welcome.
Yeah, Miss Fedora, it's me, Fedora.
My last words always
Yes,
keep
I would
love in
love
your
to hear
heart
it today.
and vote. Vote like your life depends on it because it does.
Yeah. And then remember, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. See, I got my pink shirt on today, you know,
Oh,
to support my friends that have breast cancer or survivors of breast cancer or any type of cancer. So,
yep.
ladies, remember to get checked out, get yourself
Yes.
checked. So when you find out it's not too late, you can go through the chemo and we can see you a little while longer. So continue to be blessed. It's what's domestic violence month too. Hey, it's
Domestic
domestic
violence
violence
awareness.
awareness month. Tell
Yep.
somebody,
Please.
please tell somebody. Domestic violence awareness month as well. So
Yeah. You are
tell
not
somebody.
alone. I
Yeah,
know that is a isolating feeling. Just
mhm,
know you are not alone, or you do not have, you might feel alone, but you do not have to be alone. Let
yeah,
someone know there is help out there.
yeah.
Men and women.
Men and
So,
women. Yeah. So thanks again, and remember to subscribe to Sweet 915, our Instagram and Twitter, and Facebook, YouTube, and remember, no topic is taboo. We'll see you next week. I'm not gonna mess with the Cowboy fans today. I'm gonna leave it alone, Dora. I just want the people to know
okay.
they lost to the Browns at home in that nice, pretty stadium they got. So y'all,
You said you weren't gonna mess with people.
so y'all have a wonderful week. Be blessed, and if remember again, if you need any free food, we have combination boxes this week. 11160 Montwood Drive. That's on the east side or far east, whatever area you want to consider it. Free food. So come on out, get you a box, two, three, four. No questions asked. Come get a box, give one to your neighbor. We'll be out there this Tuesday from 10 to 3. So come on out.
What's the
God bless.
address again?
It's 11160 Montwood Drive.
11160 Montwood Drive.
So come on out there and get you a box and take one to your neighbor. All right.
All
Thank you.
right.
Have a good day.
Thanks. Be blessed.